Welcome to Mrs. Milliken's Art Studio. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a winter cabin with watercolor. So the first thing I do is I take my pencil and just the top of a candle circle and trace it. Then I take my kneaded eraser and roll over the pencil marks. This way when you're painting, at the end, you won't see your pencil marks. The first thing I do is the background line, and you want to just think about drawing it lightly. And then you want it to be three-dimensional. You're going to see me draw a little barn here. I start with the side, both sides of the little lines, and then I use the triangle for the roof line. And I kind of change it once I start drawing it. And you want it to be three-dimensional. So I go back in with my eraser and I fix the little pieces of pencil. And I've drawn two circles here. I'm going to paint another scene with the cabin, but then maybe have it be a different season instead of winter. So I'm rolling over the cabin like I did with the circles to get rid of the pencil lines. Once again, doing the same thing, start with the background line and then draw the cabin again. So I had extra paints from when I had painted a bird, and I just literally take my water sprayer and spray over my watercolors. And these are on little porcelain trays. I love to paint with the little porcelain trays. It's so much better than using a plastic container. I will have this linked in the description of the video. So then I go in and I revive the paints, and these are my Winsor Newton, and it's just black and brown. So check your brush always and make sure it's clean. And I'm using the Princeton brush here, several different sizes. And this first brush that I'm using is a 4. And I'm doing a wet on wet technique, so I get the paper wet, which I'm using multimedia paper. This is not watercolor paper, so it has a different texture. And I go around the cabin because I want to keep the roof of the cabin white to make it look like it's snow. And then I'm going to go back in and add drops of the watercolor. This is the black that I'm adding. It might have been watered down a little bit to look a little grayish. Then I also go back in and I add some blue. And this is the background for the trees because I want it to look like it's a night scene. And then they'll blend all together. And like I said, this is gray and black, and I kind of dab it all together to give that little nighttime effect of the shadows of the trees. So here I add a blue hue to make it look more like a sky, and I'm using my water droppers here. I'm getting all these. This is my little paint tray that I have all my Winsor Newtons in. And so I get all those paints ready to go because I'm going to add some more colors to my winter scene. So this is the wet on wet technique. I go in and I'm adding that blue hue, and it's nice to take your paper towel. If you think you've got too much paint, kind of very gently dab it. the sky, I'm just a little bit of water on it, and I had a little bit of gray. I'm kind of just gently brushing it around the top of that circle to create the sky. Later I go back in and I add some more colors to it. This is yellow ochre, and I just put a little bit in, and I'm just brushing over with my brush, and then I go back over it with a paper towel because I think it's too dark. So I want to lighten it. So I just kind of dab over that, bring back in more gray and also more water. So I start painting the cabin, and I switch to a smaller brush, and I'm using burnt umber here. And I want to create the texture of like wood. That's why I didn't just paint the whole thing in the beginning, and I just do kind of layers of it, and then I leave the place for the door. Now I've come in with that black that I've mixed a little bit lighter to make it kind of gray. And then I just put a little line across the top of the roof so it looks like not all the roof is covered with snow. And then I'm coming in and painting the door. So I want to make it look like it's a snow scene. So when I come in with that light gray, I don't paint all of the foreground, and the foreground is what's in front of you in the painting. And I come back in and I add some water to it to make it lighter. Please remember to like and subscribe to Mrs. Milligan's Art Studio and stop by my channel for other art videos. the cool thing about watercolor is you can just take the existing paint that's there and add water to it and kind of pull it through the painting. So then it's just a lighter effect to it and not as dark as if you were just adding paint to it right away. Here I come in and I decide that that yellow is just too bright, so I add in some of that gray, and I'm kind of like bringing it down the sky to make it look like more of a nighttime effect. So now I'm coming in and I'm painting the trees that are in the front, and that's why I did the darker one behind it, just to give the effect of the shadows. And I do the left and the right side. And I think I have the smallest brush now, which is a 2/0. And I'm painting the trees, and I'm gonna come in and use the brown for the trunks of the trees. I want to give the illusion of a shadow next to where the roof line is of the cabin. So I come back in with that, the black that's been watered down a little bit, and start adding that detail there. I decided that there was too much white in the cabin, so now I'm coming back over it, going in the opposite direction with the brown. Like I said, I did lots of layering with this, so then it would just create more of an illusion of texture. At this point, I'm pretty happy with the cabin, and I'm not sure what season I'm going to paint on the next cabin, but I will be recording a video sometime soon. Hopefully you enjoy watching me paint watercolor. I'm coming back in and just adding a little bit more of the branches. If there's something you would like for me to paint, please put in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to do a video of it. Please like and subscribe to Mrs. Milligan's Art Studio. Thank you.